Let's go to question 5. Consider the function f of x equals 2 sine square x plus 7 sine 2x plus tangent x minus 9. X is greater than or equal to 0, less than pi over 2. Determine an expression for f prime of x in terms of x. F prime of x equals 2 times, we will do power rule first, 2 sine x. Then do the chain rule, cosine x, plus 7 times cosine 2x. Don't forget the chain rule times 2. Then plus secant square x. Then we organize 4 sine x cosine x plus 14 cosine 2x plus secant square x. For B, sketch a graph of y equals f prime of x for x is greater than equal to 0, less than pi over 2. We go to graphing calculator. 2 times sine x square plus 7 sine 2x plus tangent x minus 9. For y2, math 8, x, alpha trace y1, x. For y3, math 8, x, alpha trace y2, x. Since we need to sketch the graph of f prime of x, we only need to highlight the equal sign for y2. Then go to window. X is from 0 to pi over 2. For the scale of a trig function, normally we will make the maximum or minimum divided by 4. So pi over 2 divided by 4 is pi over 8. We can keep the y like this. Then your graph, you could say that you need to change the window for y-axis because we cannot find the y-intercept. Go to window. Y-minimum, let's do -5. Y-maximum, let's do 20. Divided by 10 will be 2. So graph. From this graph, we can see there is a maximum value here, minimum value here, 2x intercept. Second trace, go to x-intercept first. Enter. Move the cursor to the right side of x-intercept. x1 equals 0.967. We get the second x-intercept, second trace, minimum value first. Then we need to figure out maximum value here, second trace. 4. Left bound, let's put a 0. Right bound, just move the cursor to the right side of that maximum value. Then we get maximum value at x equals 0.0736. Don't forget y-intercept. Trace 0, enter. 0.15 is the y-intercept. When you sketch the graph, don't forget to label the origin, x and y. Then the scales. Before we sketch the graph, make sure to check whether there are asymptotes. For tangent x, we know x equals pi over 2 is a vertical asymptote line. When you sketch the graph of f prime of x, make sure your graph won't cross x equals pi over 2. Then we will find the key points on the y equals f prime of x. This is pi over 2. Divided by 4 will be pi over 8, 2 pi over 8, 3 pi over 8. Just estimate the x-intercepts. One is between 2 pi over 8 and 3 pi over 8. The other is between 3 pi over 8 and pi over 2, but very close to 3 pi over 8. These two are x-intercepts. Minimum value, it's close to 3 pi over 8. Y is negative 1.87. It's here. For the maximum value, 0.0736 and 15.1. 0.15 is the y-intercept. We will connect these 5 points. Do not cross x equals pi over 2 because it's an asymptote line. Let's go to C. Find the x-intercepts of the points of inflection of the graph of y equals f of x. Labeling this clearly on the graph of y equals f prime of x. Maximum and minimum of y equals f prime of x is the point of inflection of the graph y equals f of x. So x equals 0.0736 and x equals 1.13. Label the coordinates 0.0736, 15.1, 1.13, negative 1.87. Let's go to D. Let u equals tangent x. Express sine x in terms of u. For CST, x, y, y over x. We can use x over r for cosine, y over r for sine. The relationship between sine x and cosine x is sine square x plus cosine square x equals 1. In other words, sine x equals plus or minus square root 1 minus cosine square x. Cosine x equals plus or minus square root 1 minus sine square x. Then for tangent x equals sine x over cosine x. If you are given sine x or cosine x, we will use this way to figure out tangent x. But if you are given tangent x, you got to use this relationship to figure out sine x and cosine x. Since u equals tangent x, in other words, I can write down u equals y over x. So y equals u, x equals 1. R equals square root x squared plus y squared. R equals square root u squared plus 1. Then for sine x equals y over r u over square root u squared plus 1. For cosine x equals x over r will be 1 over square root u squared plus 1. So for D, this is the solution. E. Since for sine 2x equals 2 sine x cosine x, so we have 2 times u over square root u squared plus 1 times 1 over square root u squared plus 1. Then we get 2u over u squared plus 1. Let's go to F. Hence show that f of x equals 0 can be expressed as this. We know f of x equals 2 sine square x plus 7 sine 2x plus tangent x minus 9. We will substitute u over square root u squared plus 1 for sine x plus 7 times sine 2x is this, 2u over u squared plus 1, then plus u minus 9. Simplify 2 times u squared plus 1 plus 14u u squared plus 1 plus u minus 9 equals 0. Since we have a denominator u squared plus 1, both sides of the equation multiply by u squared plus 1. Then reduce, we have 2u squared plus 14u. Distributive property, u to the third power plus u. Distributive property, minus 9u squared minus 9 equals 0. Then we organize u to the third power. Combine like terms, minus 7u squared. These two plus 15u minus 9 equals 0. Let's go to G. Solve the equation f of x equals 0, giving your answers in the form of arctangent k. where k is integers. U equals tangent x. We need to solve for u. Then we can write down x equals arc tangent u. This u is integers. In other words, we need to solve this equation on the graphing calculator. So we will put x to the third power minus 7x squared plus 15x minus 9. Remember, unhighlight y1, y2, y3 so that only y4 is sketched on the graph. We need to change the window. Let's go to Zoom 6 to see how the graph look like. Let's change the window to have a more clear graph. You could say the x-intercept is less than 5. For the y-intercept, we will change into -1 and 1 so that we could see what's going on in this part. 0, 5, -1, 1, 0.5. Then you graph. If you want to make this more clear, you can change the window for y. Let's do -0.2, positive 0.2. Scale will be 0.1. Graph again. The graph will only touch x-axis. In other words, you have two x-intercepts. One is at x equals 1. One is at x equals 3. If you do second trace 2, 0.5 for the left bound. Then you move the cursor to the right side of x-intercept. You will get 1. Same way, you will get x equals 3. U to the third power minus 7u squared plus 15u minus 9 equals 0. U1 equals 1. U2 equals 3. X1 equals arc tangent 1. X2 equals arc tangent 3.